and its necessity for the survival of the Republic. How could society escape destruction if, when political ties are relaxed, moral ties are not tightened? What does character mean? The word comes from the Greek word character, which refers to the marker imprints on a coin or a seal. Webster's Third International Dictionary defines it as a composite of good moral qualities, typical of moral excellence and firmness blended with resolution, self-discipline, high ethics, force, and judgment. In other words, character is the impression your life leaves on others. A lot of people confuse character with reputation, but the two are cousins rather than twins. Reputation is what other people think you are. Character is what God knows you are. Your reputation is what people perceive on the outside. Character is what you know is true on the inside. On my office desk sits a quote by 19th century evangelist Dwight L. Moody. "If I take care of my character, my reputation will take care of itself." It has been said that people are like trees. The shadow of the tree is reputation. The fruit of the tree is personality. But the root of the tree is the most important part, character. Abraham Lincoln said it best. Character is like a tree and reputation like its shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. Somebody once said, "Many a man's reputation would not know his character if they met on the street." I am reminded of a lady named Carolyn who went to a new doctor who reviewed all 17 pages of her extensive medical history. She waited patiently until the doctor finally said, "Ma'am, you look better in person than you do on paper." Many people today sadly look better on paper than in person. The death of character. At the beginning of the 19th century, most obituaries made at least some mention of the character of the person who died. By the end of the century, that practice had basically disappeared. On the other hand, at the beginning of the 20th century, obituaries seldom mentioned a person's occupation. But by 1990, occupation had become the single greatest way in which a deceased person was identified. The way we viewed other people changed. What we do has become more important than who we are. We no longer value values, at least not like we once did. New York Times columnist David Brooks reflects on this trend in his book, The Road to Character. He makes a distinction between what he calls resume virtues and eulogy virtues. Resume virtues are the skills you need to make a living. Eulogy virtues are the qualities you need to make a life. Resume virtues give you a temporary job. Eulogy virtues will get you eternal respect. In a reversal from the time of George Washington, American society now places more value on the former than on the latter. As Brooks writes, we all know that the eulogy virtues are more important than the resume ones, but our culture and our educational systems spend more time teaching the skills and strategies you need for career success than the qualities you need to radiate that sort of inner light. Many of us are clearer on how to build an external career than on how to build inner character. If you want to measure how much America values virtues, survey the words we speak. People talk about what matters to them. They avoid topics toward which they feel apathy or antipathy. And our words tell the story of the death of character in modern America. Google Ngram data is a collection of most of the books written in the English language stretching back hundreds of years. The database is searchable, allowing anyone to measure word usage across time. Type in a word and you can see which words occur with more frequency. In the past century, words referring to business and economics have increased, while words referring to morality and virtue have decreased. Terms like character, conscience, and virtue all declined over the course of the 20th century. In the 1950s, private morality was considered the measure of one's character. Beginning in the 1960s, however, one's stance against issues like war, racism, and sexism became far more important measures. These are important moral issues, no doubt, and people of character should oppose evil in any form. But this small shift in definition turns out to be substantial. As author Shelby Steele notes, the result was a false dualism, dividing our public and private lives. Over time, we granted considerable license in the private realm. Sleep with whomever you wanted. Explore your sexuality. Expand your mind with whatever drug you liked. Forego marriage. Follow your instincts and impulses as inner truths. Enjoy hedonism as a kind of radical authenticity.